And we begin in Egypt, where the trial of former leader Mohamed Morsi was adjourned until January as chaos broke out in court. Mohamed Morsi, who is facing murder incitement charges, claimed he is Egypt's only legitimate leader as he stood trial on Monday. His presence sparked chaos in the courtroom, with Mohamed Morsi's 14 co-defendants chanting against the army who ousted him as a scuffle broke out between rival lawyers. After Morsi's remarks and his refusal to wear a uniform, the judge adjourned the trial. Morsi was later flown to a prison in Alexandria. The court trial was his first public appearance since being deposed some 4 months ago. Well, let's get more details now on Morsi's trial. CCTV's Penina Karibe is standing by for us in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Penina, what transpired in court this Monday?
Well, Beatrice, it was a very tense morning here in Cairo. Mohamed Morsi and his 14 co-defendants were flown from their prison to the police academy, which is where court was taking session today. They arrived at 7:15, but the trial didn't begin until 10:30 this morning. Now, outside the courtroom, the atmosphere was quite tense. We did have Muslim Brotherhood supporters gathered outside there. They were protesting. We had a battery of journalists as well, both from the local media and international media. And at some point, Beatrice, we did see some violent scenes outside the court. We had a local network from Egypt, that's the state television, that was harassed by the Muslim Brotherhood protesters. In fact, at some point, the crew was ejected and they were accused of being the mouthpiece of the military-backed government. Inside the court, British, a very defiant Mohamed Morsi, like you mentioned there in that story, at some point twice he disrupted session. Now, the first time he was asked by the judge to wear his white prison uniform, he refused. Instead, he walked in his blue suit. Secondly, he was asked by the judge to identify himself. He said his name is Mohamed Morsi, the president of Egypt. And all the time, the 14 co-defendants kept flashing the forefinger salute, which is very popular with the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, during the third time, when they disrupted the session, the judge was forced to adjourn the case. And we understand this was to give the court some time to review the documents, which we understand are about 7,000 of them. Now, like you mentioned, Mohamed Morsi was flown to a maximum security prison in Alexandria due to security reasons, and the 14 co-defendants were taken back to Torah prison. But as I said, Beatrice, it was a very tense atmosphere there. Adel EL Mahrouky was there, and as we're going to listen to his package, Beatrice, he talks about the pressure the government was put under to just try and secure this session and to ensure that it would proceed smoothly. Take a look.
It was only a few hours from Morsi's trial when officials suddenly changed the court location. Mubarak's court at the police academy was the new destination to mark a historic trial yet again. The Police Cadet Institute was the original location, but experts say it had many weak points.
Security-wise, Torah was not safe. There is only one way leading to the institute. If the Brotherhood block either entrances of the road, game over. They have the upper hand. There are slums south of the academy, so terrorist cells can easily go there, rent locations, store their weapons. Any plan could succeed, but the sudden change confused all terrorist plots.
Torah's court was constructed, though, and videos of the Interior Minister inspecting the Police Cadet Institute assured the public the location was ready to receive the ousted president.
The security officials in Egypt are now thinking in a different way. It was really strange that all media knew exactly the locations and the ways Morsi will be transported. From security perspective, it didn't make sense. So this step has been put for long, not suddenly as people think, and it was successful. It fooled everyone.
Another tactical move from the Interior Ministry was to cancel the live broadcast. It disengaged the protests from the defendants. Everyone outside stood for hours without knowing what was going on.
If supporters saw Morsi behind bars, live protests would have felt compassionate and many could have gone to the court. But when they see it later, it is no longer there, so it wouldn't mobilize masses.
Security forces managed to trick Morsi supporters and avoid major security threats with changing the court's location on Monday. After that move, many experts expect that Morsi's trial on January 8th will be held in neither locations. Adel EL Mahrouky, CCTV, Cairo.
Yasser Hakim was also at the police academy, which is where the court was sitting, and he now brings us the story of the goings-on around that place.
Multiple checkpoints, extensive security personnel, and barbed wire would meet you on the way to the police academy. In spite of the Morsi supporters announcing they will stop the trial by all means, including violence, the ones who showed up did not exceed 150, many of them women.
After the authorities transferred and they changed the area of trial. In the beginning it was Torah area, and then it's changed, and I think it was a maneuver from the authorities in order to control everything and to make some sort of camouflage for the Muslim Brotherhood in order to reduce the reaction and the consequences which is expected from the supporters of Dr. Morsi.
Experts say the Brotherhood are adopting an alternative plan to avert the tight security here.
There are different reactions from Muslim Brotherhood to express their anger from what's going on through my terrorist attacks or something like this outside the trial area, maybe in Cairo or the many other cities across the country.
The scenes in front of the court were rather peaceful at the beginning. There were Morsi supporters chanting for their leader and denouncing the trial.
Morsi is the legitimate elected president. This trial by the coup leaders is illegal and must be annulled.
Meanwhile, the media and cameras flocked to the area for exclusive coverage. Even street vendors came all the way here to sell food, drinks, stickers, and headbands for Morsi and Sisi too.
I don't support the Brotherhood. I'm here to make money by selling to both sides. I'm disappointed because the turnout is rather small.
When the court proceedings started, tensions gripped through the demonstrators. They tried to cause friction with police. They also kicked out a couple of local TV channels they accuse of supporting the ouster of Morsi.
These channels are puppets to the army, and they created lies to make Morsi look like a dictator.
As the trial is adjourned and Morsi taken away, his supporters did not stop their chantings, and they vowed that they will continue with their attempts to spoil the trial in the next few days. Yasser Hakim for CCTV, Cairo.
Also, it was quite a significant day both for the Muslim Brotherhood and also for the military-backed government. It was day one of the Mohamed Morsi trial. Let's discuss this issue further now. We're joined by Gamal Essam. He is the editor-in-chief of the Al Ahram Weekly. Thank you for joining us. So,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for being with us. So something that Yasser Hakim pointed out in his package, he said that the Muslim Brotherhood did not quite amass the kind of support that many had expected them to. You remember they had issued a statement about a week ago saying today would be a day of hell. So what exactly? Yeah, they had said that they would mobilize their supporters to try and stop the trial from taking place today. So what exactly happened? Why were they not able to do that?
I think we have not seen any day of hell in Cairo today. By contrast, we have seen a calm day in Cairo. Most of the people refused to go to their offices or to their jobs, and many schools shut down today. But most of the businesses removed continued work today, in spite of all the threats issued by Muslim Brotherhood yesterday. I think is a major reason why Muslim Brotherhood was not able to mobilize huge protests on Cairo streets today. Goes to two major reasons. First reason is that we know that after President Morsi was removed from office on the 3rd of July, and after security forces were able to disrupt the major and the huge sit-in campus in Cairo and Giza, organized by his group, Muslim Brotherhood, on the 14th of August, security forces were able to round up most of the top leaders of this group. So we do not have now the direct links between the top leaders of the group and the ordinary members of the group were disrupted completely. There are no direct channels between the the top leaders and the ordinary members of the group. So the numbers was reduced, was largely reduced. The order members should receive orders from the top leaders to move on the street, to move here. Please go here, go here, go here. No direct orders now coming from top leaders because most of them are in jail. So most of those who go out on the streets go by their initiative, by their own initiatives. And most of them are women. They do not where to go. Some of them go to where in front of the Supreme Court. Others go to the prison. Others go to the academy, the police academy.
There was no proper organization.
Of course. So over the last 2 months, the security forces was highly successful in disrupting links among the group, and this highly disabled the group to mobilize huge protests. Now we see the numbers in just tens or hundreds, but not in the thousands we used to see on July or on June.
Okay, but Mohamed Morsi himself was quite defiant today. He even said that he is the president of Egypt. Now, to some observers, this sort of had an impact on his supporters. What's your reading of his behavior in court?
We know that Mohamed Morsi is a member of Muslim Brotherhood. He is acting like this. And this is why Egyptians turned out against him, because he is working not to serve all of the Egyptians, but to serve the group. So he is loyal to his group. He is acting like what his group wants him to act. His group was defiant. He rejected the revolution against his regime and considered it a coup. It rejected any kind of reconciliation with the military-backed government. So Morsi is acting the same way because he is loyal to his group. He is defiant. He is sticking to what he calls legitimacy. He is describing this as a military coup. He said the trial is just a cover for this military coup. So he is acting like his Muslim Brotherhood wants him to act.
So the trial has been adjourned until January 8th. What next for Egypt between now and then?
Next Egypt, we are waiting for the new constitution. The committee, or what is called the Committee of the 50 responsible for writing the new constitution of Egypt, has gone a long way in drafting the new constitution. We have finished around 60 articles of the new constitution, and it has to finish its job by the end of this month. And there will be a new referendum, a national referendum, after 2 weeks after the constitution is finished. Within 2 weeks, there should be a national referendum. And if it is accepted and if the people say yes, there will be parliamentary elections. I think all of these steps will be taken ahead of 8 January. And this will change the equation in Egypt. I think it will mean a lot of loss for Muslim Brotherhood, a lot of despair for Muslim Brotherhood, and it will disrupt their calls for legitimacy and all of these things. So I think the next month or next 2 months until the second session of trial for Morsi is very important for Egypt.
All right, we have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for those insights. We did have here with us Gamal Essam, the editor-in-chief of Al Ahram Weekly, just giving us insights into what happened today and in the coming months. Beatrice, so just before I give it back to you, just to give you some latest information we're receiving here is that there were some reports that had been released that President Morsi had been taken to a prison hospital, apparently because he was hyperventilating, but the government has issued another statement saying this is not true. He is still being held at the maximum security prison in Alexandria. Beaches. All right, CCTV's Penina Karibe following all the developments there for us from the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Thank you.